Hi, everyone. Thanks for joining us. I'm Lauren, co-founder of Funder, and welcome to Behind the AI. I'm really excited to be here today with Asia O'Brien of CoCensus, one of our portfolio companies. Thanks so much for being here, Asia. Where are you calling from?
It's great to be here, and thank you for welcoming me, Lauren. So I am coming from New York. I'm born and bred New Yorker from Bushwick, Brooklyn, hence the lovely stoop I have behind me, but I do live in Manhattan now.
Great. I am a New Yorker as well. So we have that in common. Not living there right now, but born and raised. So love that stoop. Very familiar with it. So tell us a little bit more about CoCensus. Give us the quick pitch. I know you do this all the time. So what's your favorite way of explaining CoCensus?
Sure. So the quick pitch, I actually start with a little comedy story. And a bunch of market researchers walk into a bar, and they just spent a week trying to figure out from their focus groups and surveys if people mean their product is failing because they've been saying it's the bomb and it's bombing, or is it doing great because people said it's the bomb? And that's exactly the problem that CoCensus solves. And that's actually a real story that we heard from one of our customers. Um, our product allows people to conduct surveys and market research in a more inclusive way by allowing them to translate their surveys into multiple languages and then also focus on SMS surveys. So you're not missing anyone due to the digital divide. Most importantly, what our product does is it allows us to analyze your data utilizing natural language processing and a unique patent protected algorithm that we have, and that goes deeper into the insights from your qualitative data to provide you a single page report in understanding what your customers or your community is saying about a product, policy, or new initiative.
That's incredible. That is so helpful. I actually used to do a lot of research and I completely understand what you're talking about, especially if you're looking through big data and you want to go through it quickly. That is so impressive that you're working on that and incredibly valuable. So give us some insight into why you started this. What made you want to start CoCensus?
Yeah. So I mentioned I grew up in Brooklyn, and I grew up in a neighborhood called Bushwick that got crazily gentrified in the past 2 decades. And seeing that change happen, I felt like I had no role to play, and I was such a small part of the process. And I wanted to get more deeply engaged in the policy and the changes that happen to me and my fellow residents. What I later learned in my decade long career in working in community organizing is that policy and a lot of decisions are made using data. And oftentimes, the valuable data that comes from a community hearing or a focus group gets left out on the table because there's not an easy way to analyze it. So that led my wheels to kind of turning and saying, well, how can we make this type of data easy? Because it's just as important as like US Census data and all of the numerical data that we include in these decisions. So my goal then became to how do we make qualitative data easier? And I'm a sociologist, so a lot of this came natural, but bringing it into this tech space was our goal because that can really make the process more efficient for anyone who works in policy or on the market research side.
Absolutely. Yeah, I think that's such a lofty goal and makes so much sense. Really figuring out how to take all this qualitative data, sort through it, and get policies that make sense and that people really want to move forward. So I think you have your goal, but what is your large long-term vision for CoCensus? Like if CoCensus took over the world and did everything that you dreamed of, what would that be?
Yeah, so we call this our vision data by the people for the people. And really, the vision is for everyone who has any access to data and uses it for any type of decision, is to change their mindset and to go beyond, oh, I'm downloading all these numbers, and to start getting into a space where they use 50% qualitative data, 50% quantitative, and blend them together. Right now, only 20% of the market, even with big data projects, is utilizing qualitative data. And so we want to push that number from 20 to 50, which means we want to work with every big corporation, with every giant government agency to really make that happen.
That's incredible. And I think you will. So I think you're on the right path of doing that. It sounds like you have such an incredible product and incredible vision for how you want to use it and how you want to impact the world that I think is so important and so special. I think getting to that vision can be tough, right? Being an entrepreneur is hard, it's a lot of work. So who do you lean on and who do you go to for advice? Who essentially is your founder hotline?
My biggest founder hotline comes in two spaces, and one is our board and investors. Our existing board really do believe in our work, and they've been with us really since this was just an idea in my brain, which I think is a bit atypical for companies. They typically have their boards later. My board has connected me to investors, to customers, has helped pick my brain when I'm kind of stuck and lost. And so I feel like they've been so resourceful. And our investors who have just joined us this year have really been amazing at opening doors for us. And when I have an idea and I'm trying to structure it better, giving us feedback. The other is my husband. Like when I'm losing my mind, when I'm pacing back and forth, and I'm just like trying to figure something out, he always keeps me grounded. So that's something I really appreciate. And the same for a lot of my friends who maybe they don't have their own companies, but they work at startups. So they get like the volatility and the ups and downs. That network is really critical and just helps me have something under my feet while I feel like I'm out there flying.
Absolutely. Yeah. And I think having that balance of those who are professional and have a hand in your business and been there with you from day one, and then the personal as well, people who understand you outside of being a founder and know how to bring that balance into your life is so important as your larger network to sort of build you up and make sure that you're hitting your goals, but not really burning out. So, there's the hard part of being an entrepreneur, but what about the great part of being an entrepreneur? What do you love most about being a founder?
I think one of the greatest things I love is, especially as a Black woman, I am able to design and build a company that is focused on equity because of something that and it's not even unique what I experienced growing up, gentrification and seeing my community members around me displaced, but it's a unique problem that only a subset of people have experienced. And so solving that unique problem and getting to really build out a diverse team who also believe in solving that problem has been the single most powerful thing for me because oftentimes you'll walk into an office space or people are trying to like find ways to implement DEI in old institutions, and we're so new that we come into this, everyone gets training in anti-racism and equity and inclusion. Our team is super diverse, whether it's from racial, ethnic, or gender orientation, so on. And so that's a new world we get to create for ourselves. So part of what we want to see and the glory of doing this is in 10 years from now, we're going to have this super giant business that is diverse from the start and has really grown up and was built with like this diverse foundation. So the ideas and the innovations that'll come from that are going to be really exciting.
Absolutely. That is incredible. I definitely understand what you mean in terms of creating an organization based on what you want to see in the world. And it sounds like you're doing that and living your real core values from day one. So that's really incredible. I am so excited to see what happens with CoCensus. We're so excited to have it in our portfolio. So if you are interested in investing in CoCensus, please go to fundr.ai. You can check out Taisha and her incredible company that she's building. And Taisha, where else can they find more information on CoCensus?
Definitely follow us on Twitter. It's just at CoCensus. And you can also check out our website, cocensus.io, to get more information about us and the customers that we work with.
All right, sounds good. Thanks so much for joining us today. Check us out again. We'll have more behind the AI coming up, and have a great one. Thanks, Taisha.
Thank you.